Our next speaker is someone who got national attention when he led a walkout out of a Staten Island Amazon warehouse. When management forced employees to continue working despite an outbreak of coronavirus at the warehouse, please welcome Chris Smalls, who is the founder of the Congress of Essential Workers. Chris, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for having me. And thank you, People's Party, for putting this amazing convention together with all these prominent people and vessels of this movement in time and history. For those who don't know me, my story, my name is Chris Smalls, former Amazon employee from Staten Island, JFK. Back in March, when this pandemic hit this country, I stood up for what I thought was right. I wasn't an organizer beforehand. I was a concerned parent, a concerned father, a concerned supervisor. And what I stood up for was not only for health and safety concerns, it was for our very own communities that we live in. What you've seen on March 30th changed my life forever. I held a protest. 2 hours later, Amazon decided to terminate me. This goes to tell you, America, capitalism doesn't separate itself from racism. They terminated me. They put a target on my back because of the color of my skin and because of what I did. Don't let them any other way. Let them put these things out in the media that I violated any type of social distancing violations that didn't exist. What we're talking about here is the fact that making a stance in these unprecedented times is very necessary. Doing what you never thought you would be subject to doing in life is what we're talking about here. This moment in time in history is very important for our younger generation. It was a no-brainer for me to do what I did. It was inhumane for me to sit back on the sidelines and do nothing. I sit here proudly to say that I don't have no regrets about my lost job. Working for Jeff Bezos, who is now a $200 billion man, was probably the worst decision of my life. And doing what I did on March 30th was the best decision of my life. Now I'm a catalyst in this labor movement and and traveling all over the country with my organization that I founded in mid-April, the Congress of Essential Workers, TCLEW, a coalition of workers from all over the nation, from all different backgrounds, Black, brown communities, indigenous communities, immigrants. We all came together, formed this alliance, and continue to stand in the streets and advocate on our very own demands of the working class people and the communities that we live in. Some of these demands are very basic. Medicare for all, something that we should all have as American citizens. The raising of minimum wage to $30 per hour. People are saying that we are unskilled, untrained workers. And I tell everybody that say that we don't deserve $30 an hour, that you're being ignorant and being blinded and brainwashed, that we do not deserve that. As a warehouse worker, working with Amazon since 2015, there's no college in this nation that could teach you the things that you have to learn in the warehouse. Everybody that came to that gets hired with any company has to go through a training period. And I tell you, if you teach me something, I will learn it. So we got to get out of that mentality and understand that this is not the new norm for us. We have to create this. The youth generation, I'm looking to you and I see what you're doing. I've been in the streets with the younger generation and I'm so proud and I'm so happy that we are continuing to fight. Over this past weekend, we were just down in Washington, D.C. in front of Jeff Bezos' mansion, $23 million mansion. And the media want to make headlines about the guillotine that was set up in front of his property, more so than the voices of the stories of the employees that used to work for him or still work for him. And I'm here to say that I'm not going to allow the media to drown out our voices, just like Amazon tried to drown out my voice when they terminated me back on March 30th. You may have read about it, you may have not read about it, but they also tried to run a smear campaign on me. Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, was in that conversation when this leaked memo was leaked to the public. This leaked memo said that I'm not smart or articulate. And I should be the face of the whole union organizing for Amazon. And I want to say thank you, David Sapolsky, because you gave me the best idea ever to become a face of this movement. And that's exactly what I continue to do. That's exactly what I continue to stand for and fight for. As you know, 12 billionaires in this country have accumulated over $1 trillion of wealth during the course of this pandemic, while more than half the country is unemployed. And as you know, the richest man in the world is on pace to be the first trillionaire in history. This is not something that we should be praising. This is something that we should be very aware of, scared of, because these billionaires do not represent this country at all. They put profits above people. People have died to accumulate their wealth for them, and they are not taking care of the Black community, the brown community, the indigenous communities, the immigrants communities at all. We all need to take this moment in time, as COVID-19 is still here, we need to take this moment in time to fight back. And that is the future that I see America going towards. And if these candidates like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris do not represent us, we're putting them on notice starting today with this People's Party movement. I'm letting it be known, I had 9 senators sign a letter on my behalf to Jeff Bezos. 9 of them. Kamala Harris was one of them. Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Cory Booker. I'm saying to all of you that wrote a letter on my behalf, and not just my behalf, to all the workers that were exploited during these times, we need you guys to take action if you're really representing the power of the people, or if you're trying to represent a message to your constituents that stands in solidarity with the working class people. Enough is enough. I think the youth, the younger generation, and myself included, are tired of the Democratic Party doing a lot of lip service and not enough action. So we're looking for a new way out, and the third party may be the way to go. And I believe this is the foundation, and this coalition that we formed here today with these speakers and stories will be the way of the future. And I want to make sure that I'm a catalyst and a vessel for that movement and the younger generation, because I'm looking to see my kids grow up in a society where they don't have to be subjected to social justice or racial inequalities when they're in the workforce. So please, people, let's take this moment in time in history. Let's come together as Black and brown and all peoples of all different backgrounds and creeds. Let's stand together in solidarity. Do not, I repeat, do not stop fighting. Do not stop marching in these streets. Let's continue to mobilize. Let's continue to be strategic. We have to fight back because the time is now. There will not be another chance after this. We want to look back on this opportunity 5 years from now and say, where was you during COVID-19? Ask yourselves that. Where were you during this moment in time in history? Did you sit back and do nothing, or were you really a part of the movement for change? And I'm going to say, I make a pledge, and I encourage everybody to join me, join my organization, join any organization in your community that is fighting for the change that is very much needed in society today. And that being said, be safe out there, and please vote. Solidarity.